What's happening, folks out there? Welcome to the Game and Watch Podcast, episode number 105. I'm your boy, your host, Justin Reed, aka Too Tall for You Fool. I am joined once again by my main man, the F-Man, Finest Dabs, OVG, RView Gaming himself,
Yep,
as he
that's me.
ways.
That's
And
me.
once again from the Loading Bar Podcast, Max Hines is joining us today. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
All right, just a reminder that the Gaming Watch podcast is a OVG or RV Gaming production. We are available on all listening platforms, whatever your choice. Just pick which one you want, and we are there for you to listen to. For your viewing pleasure, we are on Twitch and YouTube. Whichever one you prefer to watch us on, feel free to do so. If you have any comments or questions or anything, definitely email us, gamingwatchpodcast at gmail.com. If you are watching us live, we will have a segment at the end of the show called Chat Room Comments. So feel free to get your comments in. We'll respond in real time if we feel it's necessary. Otherwise, we'll try to save all that stuff for the end. We have a Patreon, by the way. Any dollar or cent donated to the show will make this better for us, the host, and you, the viewer or listener. And with all that out of the way, everything for the show notes and everything, links, everything will be in the description of this episode. So with that out of the way, how's it going, fellas? How you doing? How's your week been?
Good. Not enough time to game. I'm
All
like,
right. Mm-hmm.
I've been chopping it up quite a bit. Like, just breaking it up between God of War, so replaying through that one. And then in addition to that, just still playing Hot Wheels Unleashed. In my free time, like same thing I've been doing for the last few weeks. So nothing crazy there. Just started back up at work, like we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I got some fun toys coming in the mail.
All
I
right,
got
on.
a exclusive Wolverine Funko Pop that I'll add to the collection back there.
All
I also have a MDX Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's like a 7-inch figure, high detail. It doesn't transform, but it has it's the diecast metal ones that has the articulate, just like all the articulating points. So yeah, super excited about that, to add that to my collection of Transformers. But I'm doing pretty well. You know, it could be worse.
Could be worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
it always could be worse. Definitely. Max, you hadn't been on in a minute. What you been gaming on? How you been doing? Didn't you have like a wedding to go to or something?
Yeah, this was my, I would say, third wedding of the year,
Oh
and
wow, that's a lot of
yeah,
weddings.
yeah. Why do people get married? Anyway,
Yeah.
no, but this was in the UK, and so I had a lot of game time on the flights, which were like one was 8 hours, one was 13 hours. I was all over the place with the death of the Queen. Everything just got like kind of turned all upside down.
Yeah. I
So
can imagine.
I did my first over 24 hours awake kind of day in a very long time, and I spent a good chunk of that playing SD Gundam Alliance, really sinking my teeth into that. And when I got home, I dived right back into Cyberpunk like so many other people right now. So
Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about Cyberpunk a little bit throughout the show.
mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, that's good. Any other games you care to share with us, or that's about all you got?
I did start up Multiverses again.
Okay.
I just kind of dipped my toes into it, like back when it like first launched, and then I hadn't touched it, just kind of for other things. But yeah, I'm actually slowly getting the hang of it and quite enjoying it. So yeah, those are the top three at the moment.
All right. Well, as for me, I finally booted up my PS5 again since I got back from my work business trip. It had a bunch of updates, but once I updated it all, I downloaded the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so Call of Duty game, quite frankly, wasn't a big fan of the loadouts, but I'm pretty sure I'll get some better guns later on if you just keep leveling up, like with the same thing with all these games. And then yeah, also been just fooling around with my Super NT this week. Did a little impromptu stream on Friday. Played some Mario RPG. I played some Super Smash TV. I played some Donkey Kong Country, and then also went to one of my favorite retro game stores, Retro Gorilla. Shout out to Kyle who works over there. He recently got his store over in Lake Elsinore. Find us actually the next time you visit your in-laws. I know they don't live very far from there. You got to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be impressed. It's a good store. I've been going to one for a while. So, and then hopefully maybe we can even do a show over there one of these days. But November 13th. But I picked up a few games while I was over there. Picked up Monopoly for the Super Nintendo.
Why?
Because it's Monopoly. And
All right.
Mario World.
I guess that's enough justification for that. Cool.
I like Monopoly. I mean, well, I like it on any console, really. But yeah.
I like Monopoly too, but I hate Monopoly on just any platform. So I'm I'm totally opposite of you.
I mean, I think playing it on a video game console is the best way to play it because there's no cheating.
Once again, one of the reasons why I'm not a fan.
I think playing it on any console makes it fair, whether it be the PS4 or the Super Nintendo. Just actually one version of the game I really do like that I think kind of goes unnoticed. The N64 version of that game, very 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 good actually.
Okay.
Do you guys remember? Maybe you guys had. I'm not sure if you had this in the States, but the CD video games that you got with cereal boxes. That version of Monopoly was my version.
Oh,
that was amazing.
I'm not too familiar with that one.
Oh, really? Oh. Yeah. So yeah, General Mills used to put like video games in cereal boxes, so you'd have Monopoly or Sorry or Roller Coaster Tycoon or something like that, and they were a lot of fun. And yeah, I've always thought about doing some sort of retrospective on that, but anyway.
Well, yeah, Monopoly's my favorite board game, and I think it's pretty cool that you could always play it on the video game. But I can see why people would want to just play it, for real as an actual board game instead of on whatever console of choice you have. But I mean, anyway, enough with that. So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about this GTA 6 leak and what's going on at G4 TV. So we're going to dip in a little bit of that as well. But first, let's get into the gaming news callouts. First story we have is we are going to be talking about another leak, not the GTA 6 leak just yet, but we're going to be talking about Diablo 4. Diablo 4 leak, for the most part. If it's not one leak, it's another. So let me pull up my notes here. Yeah, so pretty much it's been a pretty rough week in terms of leaks, but there was a full 43 minutes of unfinished Diablo 4 footage that got uploaded. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to check it out, but not anything is just like pretty comprehensive about it. So with that being said, have you guys had a chance to check out any of the images of the Diablo 4 leak, Max?
Yeah, so I checked out just like a 43-minute video of the leaks, and I honestly, I don't know, I was having a good time with it, just with all the timestamps in the back, or not the timestamps, the watermarks in the background.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of watermarks.
Oh my god, it's just like, just in case you didn't know, this is a test. But I also, the NPCs had their voices were on like some sort of like the robot chat kind of thing. So it was just like, I don't know, you are a very strong warrior, like just like that robot speak. And it was pretty great. So that was my takeaway from it. No, I'm just kidding. But it was, it was interesting. It was definitely entertaining.
All right, for sure. Finest, were you able to check out this leak or any of the images from this leak?
Yeah. I mean, I looked it over real quickly, but the thing is, like, I tend to stay away from leaks, like especially
Yeah.
when I'm interested in a game. So I looked at images. I did not look at the video.
Mm.
I did not deep dive into that. I stayed out of the threads on Reddit and so forth because that's where this leak originated. Someone posted it to Reddit. Whatever hacker did that, and yeah, I mean, I don't think this is as big of a deal for Activision just because it we all know Grand Theft Auto was also leaked this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just been the talk of the town. Like that's been the big
Yeah.
news. So I feel like if there was any time where you should have a leak, it would be the right now would be a great time to do it because people aren't really paying attention to what's going on with anything else other than Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the only issue I see with this particular leak in general is that they were planning on having a closed alpha and beta. So when all the details of the game are already out there, people are already giving their insights, opinions, and so forth based on the information that they're already seeing. So it's kind of difficult in terms of like, it's like, here's our game, and then like, you know, judge it like individually by a case by case basis, and then give us your opinions because their opinions are already skewed because they've seen all those things in a leak. But beyond that, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. It, it's been said throughout the industry this week, but I mean, this will very much just be something in the distant past once the game does come out. And if
Mm-hmm.
anything, if Diablo 4 is anything like Diablo Immortal, which I'm sure it is, and just really every other game that's that's coming out in the current generations, it's going to receive consistent updates throughout the lifetime. And I
Mhm.
see the lifetime being very long. I expect this to be like at least a 5-year game, if not longer, before they come out with like another Diablo or before they even mention another Diablo. So yeah, it's fine. Like, okay, yeah, we saw some gameplay. Love it or hate it, but yeah,
Mm.
that's just how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. Unlike you, Finance, I definitely try to stay away from leaks, especially with games I'm interested in. This one, I'm not very interested in. I'm not, the biggest Diablo fan, but I'm sure that definitely some people, some fans checked it out, and some fans didn't check it out. So, but this isn't as big a leak as the main one we're going to talk about later. So, I mean, in that regard, definitely. So, let's talk some FPGA emulation. As well, we have a little bit of a hack here, or yeah, I guess it's a hack. The Analog Pocket can now play Super Nintendo games, and this also was updated. It can also play Genesis games as well, from what I've seen. The YouTuber, his name Russ Crandall, who pretty much everyone goes by Russ from Retro Game Corps. It's a YouTube channel. Pretty if you're into emulation on handhelds, he can definitely spur you in the right direction of what to get and all that stuff. But pretty much, it's pretty much as easy as getting a file from the Mister box, if you guys are familiar with that. Getting the core from there with put some software on the thing, and poof, you can play Super Nintendo games. Now Genesis, it doesn't work with all the games just yet, but for the most part, it can play just about all Super Nintendo games, including the harder to run ones like Super Mario RPG, anything with the FX chip. So, did the Analog Pocket just get more interesting to you? Are you going to buy it? Is it going to be on your Christmas list?
You know what? I mean, it definitely was already interesting to me,
Mm-hmm.
just in general. The price tag is still kind of up there, but yeah, I mean, it definitely is more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Any hacked hardware is always more interesting to me. Like, the Switch has
Mm-hmm.
been notably hacked for a very long time. Or be like it's able to be hacked, and like if you go like
Yeah.
for any reseller, like OfferUp or 5 Mile, or even like at some of these at some of these game stores,
Mm-hmm.
you can find hack switches. They sell them at my all the pawn shops near my house. Like, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely more interesting. Than my thing is like, for me, I'm a preservationist. I love original hardware, like I will never hack my original hardware. And then if I do, for some reason, I'm gonna buy another one that's not hacked. That's just the way I operate.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's awesome that the Super NES games could be played. I don't I it's kind of the same thing we always talk about emulation. It's just like,
Mhm.
oh, it's like, yeah, it could be hacked, but now is who's losing out on money?
Mm.
What developers being screwed? Who's benefiting from this?
Well, for these retro
And
developers, no one is losing money.
yeah, well, I mean, potentially Nintendo.
Yeah.
We also know that the Steam Deck can play like Switch games and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
that's a separate topic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if Nintendo once again made these games more available to your public and to your audience through just different online means, or if you want to put out re-releases, or if you want to put out more Super Nintendo minis, um you're gonna have you're gonna you're gonna have less of an audience that's gonna be willing to participate in emulating games, and basically taking a potential of your sales. So there you go, Nintendo. There goes some financial advice from Finest Apps. You can send a check to my PayPal.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. I mean, I know for me, um, well, I play all my Super Nintendo games now on my Super Analog NT, or Analog Super NT, excuse me, and it's a good device for the most part. You can change the resolution, screen size, all that stuff. I mean, I love it. I think it was a good investment. I was a little hesitant at first, but I mean, definitely. I mean, I did hack the thing so I can play, some ROMs, not all ROMs. Like the harder to run ROMs, you pretty much have to have the original card, like Star Fox, anything with the FX chip,
Mm.
etc. What are your thoughts, Max, on the Analog Pocket, and now it can play SNES games and Genesis games?
Well, my very first thought viewing this was that the future is definitely handheld.
Oh,
Just kind of based off of another story we're going to be talking about later on down the road. But I was very interested in this. I watched a little 48-minute kind of like review video of it, and I was very impressed with how like crisp. This was the first time I've ever seen this before,
mm,
and it definitely turned me on to it because I kind of viewed it as okay. So like all of my emulation that I've ever done, hypothetically, if the FBI is listening, um, has always been through my laptop, and having like I don't know, like for example, like I was just on these plane rides. Like maybe I'm not feeling the Switch. Maybe I'm not feeling like a lot of that stuff is the Super Nintendo application on the Switch that lets you play Super Nintendo games, or the N64 uh, emulator. Like you need Wi-Fi to access that, and you're on a plane. I don't have
yeah,
that. So having this kind of like as another option, um, I think is wonderful. You take, whatever emulated games that you have on your laptop, I assume, and then you can transfer them over to the handheld, and there you go. But yeah, I'm yeah super on board with that.
Yeah, that screen is so crisp. You were so
yeah,
right that it is a beautiful, beautiful
yeah. It
screen
is
on the
pretty
Analog
good.
Pocket. Yeah.
And sorry, Justin, you have this, right?
Which one? The Analog Pocket? No, I have the Analog Super NT, which is pretty
Okay,
much the clone Super Nintendo. That's what I have. I don't have
I
the
see. Okay.
I don't have the Pocket just yet. I mean, I'm thinking about it. It's just a little steep right now. I
Yeah,
might get
yeah,
it later on. I mean, I want to get eventually in the Game Boy Advance collecting. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, or I could just play them on like an old Nintendo DS or something. But I mean,
yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see on that. I mean, as for me, I mean, I do love emulation. I think it's very great. Emulating games on your phone, your tablet, whatever the case may be. Especially like NES, Super NES, anything like PS1 or PSX as they call it, and below. Pretty simple to
Oh
emulate
yeah.
on whatever device you have these days. So I mean, I take advantage of it. I mean, I know Finance was saying a couple episodes back that he was emulating some SNES games on his phone.
Yeah.
The only thing is, you got to get a controller. Those button overlays, yeah, they
Yeah,
ain't
they're
cutting
not great.
it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely rough. Just playing like, I was playing Mario RPG, some I don't know, I was playing a Dragon Ball fighting game. I don't even know what it's called, but I was playing that, and then I was playing Mario Kart, and yeah, it was pretty rough. Like I would get frustrated like after like 10 minutes, and then I would be like tempted to throw my phone across the wherever I was sitting. But yeah, it was something. It was the same with me as Max. I was on a plane, so it was something to do, and it doesn't require Wi-Fi or anything. So
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, well, I mean, I do have some options for you. I mean, GameSir just came out with a new controller, so there's plenty of stuff out there. Even if you want to get like a cheapy one for like $20 or whatever, and just it should, most of them do fit all phones. Just run whatever emulator you want, whether it be a standalone emulator or RetroArch, and you're good to go once you
yeah.
get that going. So I mean,
I know
definitely,
I need one. I honestly, it's hard to justify buying one of those just because I
Mhm.
don't play.
yeah,
Like I was on a plane. Like that's
yeah,
the only time I'll like really play. Otherwise, I don't play games on my phone.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
wouldn't know
fair
by
enough.
looking at my phone because I download everything.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, phones are powerful enough. Some phones out there are powerful than probably some of the computers we have. So, I mean, definitely. But I always like to talk emulation when we can. So, good conversation there. Uh, EA is making an Iron Man game. Iron Man, yay! Aren't you excited? Pretty much, it's going to be an all new single player, third person action adventure. Pretty much is what Electronic Arts Motive Studio had said. The game, not yet titled, is in pre production and is being developed in collaboration with Marvel Games. The spokesman for EA, Bill Roseman, said, and Marvel Games creative director. Uh, let's see, it's a love letter to the legendary hero in the form of the Ultimate Iron Man game. Well, I mean, too bad they didn't. Did they ever make a like Iron Man game back in the '90s when that first cartoon show was on? I don't think they did. I don't know,
Not
but
about the cartoon, but they've
No.
made. I mean, Iron Man's been in a ton of games.
yeah,
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 but the bar is pretty low.
yeah. I
yeah, it
mean,
is.
I don't. I mean, do you guys have high expectations for the game, Max? We can start with you.
Yes, I do. Just based off of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man has been setting the bar, I think, for superhero games moving forward. What did they announce recently? So we have the Wolverine game.
Yeah,
Made
Wolverine.
It's going to be done by Insomnia, so we know that's in good hands. And then they announced that World War II era Captain America Black Panther game. Um, and then yeah, now this Iron Man game. Like I'm seeing I'm seeing where the chips are falling, and this is kind of going to be the de facto focus on superhero games moving forward. And that with a template like Spider-Man as like your baseline, I don't know. I'm optimistic. Iron Man's like, and I'm kind of superheroed out personally,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see this being a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. Definitely. I mean, I know for me, I mean, EA doing this does kind of scare me a bit, but I mean, I hope that with Marvel behind it's a good game. I mean, hopefully it's somewhere on the level of Spider-Man. I mean, we didn't really get that with the Avengers, unfortunately. Guardians of the Galaxy, that was good. Just not popular with everyone, but it was a good game. So I mean, we'll see what happens there with
Mhm.
if this is a good game or not. Right now it's pre-production, so I mean it's probably years off right now. F
Oh yeah.
man, are you excited for Iron Man?
I am stoked. I've been
You are
waiting
stoked.
for a an incredible Iron Man game. It's crazy because there was that this is coming off of the canceled Iron Man game that was announced to be 2 years in development, and then Avalanche the studio Avalanche was supposed to be making that game, and then it was canceled. So and that was back in like 2012, I believe was the date. So coming off of that, it's exciting to hear like they're like revisiting that, because I mean, look at Iron Man's just popularity has like shot up like exponentially. And I can justify that because I have the first issue of Iron Man. Yeah, bragging rights
Mhm.
right there.
Bragging rights.
Yeah, I have the first issue of Iron Man, not the first appearance. It's very separate things. But
Mhm.
First
the first
appearance, yeah,
issue,
that's
and
that's
that issue shot up tremendously since those Marvel movies have come out. Just on top of that, you see like
mm.
cosplay, the comics, not much more about Iron Man. But anyway, back to video games. Yeah, the Avalanche game was canceled, and then there was also the maker. Oh, it was the makers of Just Cause, Avalanche Games. Hey, man, I just what they did with Just Cause and that open world and kind of that sandbox, I think would
Mhm.
have been very interesting. I think their biggest issue is their quality level. Like their games are always glitchy and patchy, and all the mechanics don't always work together very well. There's like a lot of clipping. There's a lot of things that kind of just it's a little janky. It's fun jank though, and I do love that about the Just Cause games, but you can't have that in Iron Man. Iron Man's a little more precise, pristine. If you're flying around, you want to make sure you are doing it well. So yeah, I'm excited to see that we're finally getting one. Yeah, like we said a moment ago, like all the older Iron Man games, like on like Atari and Super Nintendo, or games where he appeared. He's never been just a great character, except for Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Those are probably the best appearances of Iron Man right there. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. Iron Man is one of my favorite characters. Me and my wife were just actually talking about that earlier.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, we were just talking about Iron Man because we went to a fan fest today, where at a mall, and they had people dressed up in costumes. It was really weak, but they had like people dressed up in costumes. So they had Batman, Iron Man, Captain America, and then it was like also like 95 degrees today, and the only booths that they really had for kids were face painting, and so the face painting lines were like a mile long, and then they had like Geico Insurance, and then they had like Primavera and like all these like random booths, and we're like, oh no. So we like walked around real quick, and then we went to a restaurant. It's called like Comic X,
Comic
over
X?
here, oh yeah, in Phoenix, and then they have a lot of memorabilia. It's kind of like the one at Universal Studios that used to exist, J-Man, if you
Mm,
remember that.
think
Um,
so.
yeah, they had a Marvel themed restaurant at Universal Studios, and essentially this is the same thing. They have like Incredible Hulk statue, they have a Thor statue, they have a Predator statue, they have a Joker statue, and then they have all these different memorabilia. They have like video games in the corner and such. And we went there afterwards just to keep on theme today. And yeah, anyway, short story: Iron Man was playing on the TV, and then we talked about how we need to rewatch Iron Man. Yeah, long story
Definitely.
short.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. To make a long story short, that's good. Yeah, then yeah, you really have a lot of love for Iron Man. Who? But I
Hey
don't know.
man,
Maybe.
and just to add to the optimism too,
Mm,
like I know EA is behind this, but so is Motive,
yeah.
and they made one of the best flight simulators I've ever played in Squadrons, the Star Wars
Yep.
Squadrons. So, I mean, Iron Man's flying is going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about EA being behind it too. You're totally right. And then Motive is also working on Dead Space coming out early next year, and
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
really excited about that remake. So I mean, if like long as EA's putting the backing, the money, like so Motive can have like the ability to do what they want to do. I mean,
Mm.
I think it's a win-win. I don't care that EA is going to be stamped on the box. Really, I'm just excited that yeah, this game is coming out, and I'm very excited that Motive is developing it. It's a great point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully it's a good game. I mean, I can only hope. I mean, I want to see another great superhero game besides Spider Man. So it would be we can only hope, right?
Mhm.
They're coming. They're
They're
coming
coming. They're
for sure.
coming. Yeah, that's all we can say is that they're coming. Well, speaking of Spider Man, former Sony executive Sean Layton has joined Tencent. And I mean, for what he did at Sony, I mean, I can't complain about his work. I thought he was pretty likable for the most part. So, but he did say this quote: "In this new role, I hope to advise, assist, and support the team at Tencent as they deepen their activities and commitments within the industry to which I've devoted the majority of my career. We are at an epoch. I think I said it right. Defining moment in gaming and interactive entertainment. There are many possible roads ahead, but only a few are profound, broadening, inclusive, edifying, inspiring, and/or sustainable. I am thrilled to continue this journey of discovery and thank Tencent for the opportunity. So yes, Sean Layton joins Tencent, and as you know, Tencent has become one of the leader in gaming in recent years. They've acquired several studios, including Back for Blood developer Turtle Rock Studios, Sackboy, um, and then also owns the League of Legends, Riot Games, 40% of Fortnite's Epic Games, and 16.25% of Elden Ring Studio from Software. Uh, Finance, what do you think of Sean Layton joining Tencent? Good move or bad move?
I think it's inconsequential.
Mm.
Okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know really the extent or the purpose of like his participation in what how they're going to be moving forward. Is he going to help with like acquisitions? Is he going
Mm.
to be helping with just overall management of all like overseeing like all the different studios that they like do have a stake in? Like it's just yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that he retired from PlayStation. Only several years later to join Tencent. But I mean, Tencent is rolling. They're rolling in dough right now. They
Yeah, yeah,
are
they
they
are.
are one of the companies, along with the Embracer Group, and Microsoft and Sony. All these big time publishers and developers. They're just up there. I mean, the list of games that they have own or have stakes in, as you've already mentioned, is just a kind of incredible. So, yeah, I mean, why not, hire people that have already been at the top at other companies so they can really establish their foothold within the game industry even more so than they already have.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, what's we've seen other executives like Reggie Fils-Aimé. He went to GameStop. He's not with them anymore. Didn't do too much over there after he left Nintendo. So I mean, so do I think he had a big impact with GameStop? I mean, not really. I'm just being honest. But I mean, we'd have to just wait and see what happens with see what Sean Layton does here. I mean. Max, you got any thoughts on if Leighton can broaden Tencent's horizons, or if it'll just be the same, nothing gets done? What do you think?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really 100% know who Sean Layden was up
Okay.
until reading about this article, but Tencent definitely seems like it's becoming this amalgam of gaming superpowers. Like it's since we're on like we're coming off a Marvel topic, it's becoming like the Shield of video games. It's
Shield.
yeah, acquiring all of these heavy hitters and all of these just developers and people and everything, and it's just turning into this just yeah this beast, this hydra of gaming, and hopefully there's a lot we're going to see that we can definitely benefit from, and if Sean can provide any assistance to that, that's like amazing. But I don't know, um, not 100% anyway. I guess we'll just kind of have to see, but I can say this: I think Tencent is going to slowly and surely definitely become more of a household name when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will too. I mean, well, I think something is going to happen on the back end, but I don't know. I still find it kind of fishy how he left Sony. It was kind of just like abrupt. If you remember that, Finest, it was just kind of like, oh, he's not with the company anymore. So I think something may have happened behind the scenes that people don't want to discuss, or he doesn't want to discuss, and if, that's all right. Hopefully, he finds a good home with Tencent, and he takes them, the bigger and better things, and just his knowledge in the gaming industry, definitely goes unmatched. So, good for him for going to Tencent, and let's see what happens. All right, so have you ever seen a situation where a developer sues blah blah blah, and then blah 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 sues the developer again? I guess the old switcheroo. I guess we have this in this situation. Destiny 2 cheat developer claims Bungie hacked them in a lawsuit. I thought this was kind of funny. This is like some kind of joke, right? Like, I do not believe this developer at or no the cheat company at all saying that they were hacked by Bungie. Why would a developer Bungie hack someone?
I mean, even if they did, kudos to them. I mean, good shit. Like, if someone's trying to hack me, if I can hack them back, hell yeah, that's like the ultimate revenge. Yeah, like
100%.
I hope they did, and I hope I hope Bungie's already won a couple of these cases, against people that have leaked their information, their IPs or internal information, music, or that have already hacked them. So Bungie is setting a precedent, and I think this is the precedent that needs to be set because this is the industry is kind of crazy in its current state. Since people are working from home, people are working from Slack or whatever the case may be, or on Wi-Fi's that may not be secure or whatever the case may be. You know what? I mean, it everything the industry in a whole is more of a target,
Mhm.
and really like I know there's just like it's oftentimes like young kids, and it's just it's ruining it for everyone. It's ruining it for like games and media in order to like be able to get access to games because they're already so secretive about like games and who they give them to. Like that's why we can't get shit. Like I've reached out to companies. Like I'm just like, hey, like I'm like, can I get a beta code or something over here? And then it's like, who are you and what do you do? I'm like, I'm this guy. I'm OVG. Like, come on, give me something. And it's like, no. They're like, we don't know you. And yeah, it's not going to get any easier for our little podcast. Amongst all the other influencers and all the other people talking about games.
Not at
And
all.
in addition to that, they're going to crack down on all the people that are working on the games. If not anything, they may have to all go back to work, like in the office, if they are. And so like it's like then it becomes like it comes to when you're just that secretive and you have to like hold something that tight, to your chest. It just kind of makes it like unenjoyable to do. It's like the ultimate thing about games is being able to share it, but you want to be able to share it on your own terms. And man, it just sucks when you see like things like this like happen. But that's my rant. How do you guys feel about this?
You want to go, Max? How do you feel, man?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just kind of feel, I don't know. This was like you said. I was like, you know what? Good job, Bungie. Like it's tough being a game developing studio these days, like with everything that they have to contend with developer crunch and like, you know, the list can go on, and I'm not going to go on my tangent or anything like that. But like, you know, if this is legit, like, you know, too tall, you're right. This could just be bunk. But
Yeah.
um, good for them. Good for them for standing up for themselves. That's that's my takeaway from it anyway.
Yeah, for me, it could be, they could be lying. If it is true, I don't think anything would happen to Bungie personally, especially, if they're the ones, that threw the first punch. Bungie's paying them back, serves them right, so they're getting what they deserve, if you ask me. So,
Yeah,
good job, Bungie.
as Matt Bliss says in the chat. He says the cheat company opening a lawsuit with a hacking claim could lead to extra discovery for them from Bungie, and that could be information to assist in their case. And quote, let's see, the cheat company's claim also is that Destiny broke their terms of service and sharing the software internally via pirating. Yeah, so all good information there. Yeah, great
Mm,
points. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, very good points. But yeah, anyone playing Destiny, if you guys are listening, let us know what you think. GamingWatchPodcast@gmail.com, or if you're watching, feel free to comment in. Um, Anyway, we're gonna talk some more handhelds, but this one is a new handheld console. Looks like Logitech is trying to get into the console business now, at least with handhelds, and the Logitech Gcloud is upon us. So it's going to be it's a handheld, and I think the only thing is that it's at the stinker for me, and probably why I won't buy it is its focus is on cloud gaming. Yes, and I guess they priced this thing at 359 $350. Uh yeah, they said that the introductory price was gonna be 300, but it looks like they raised it $50 more. What do you get for 350? You get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G system chip on with a 4 gigabytes of RAM. It has 64 gigabytes of storage that you can expand with a micro SD card. With cloud gaming services, most of its intensive computing tasks happen in data centers near you. You don't need a powerful GPU for cloud gaming. Okay. Let's see. And it's going to be an Android device, 5.1 USB Type C port, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, stereo speakers, stereo microphones. It's pretty much using the Xbox gamepad layout of the A, B, X, Y buttons, two analog sticks, two analog triggers, two bumper buttons, haptic feedback. Uh, let's see. Anything else that I need to do for specs? The console has a 7-inch display, 1080p resolution, 12 hours of cloud gameplay. Overall, the console weighs about 463 grams. That's roughly 30% lighter than the Steam Deck and a bit heavier than a Nintendo Switch with the Joy Cons attached. In addition, cloud gaming services gamers can G Cloud to stream games from their consoles or PC using Xbox or Steam Link apps, for instance. All right, I think I've read about enough here. I'll give my take. I'm not buying this thing. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on cloud gaming. So I mean, and yeah, that's that. And especially for $350, I was hoping it'd be a little cheaper. I mean, I didn't even think 300 when they, first introduced it, a while back was a little too much. But yeah, 350. You could just buy a Nintendo Switch or just pay a little more and buy a Steam Deck, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's my opinion. It's like if I'm gonna buy a dedicated handheld streaming device, why wouldn't I buy the best one on the market that's
Yeah.
closest to this one, and that's gonna be the Steam Deck for $399.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like with all the grace and the development that Valve and the constant updates that Valve has been putting within the Steam Deck, and knowing that I can play PS5 games, that I can play Switch games, that I can play Xbox Game Pass and Xbox games, in addition to anything else that's on what the was it Steam, the Steam store, the whatever, the yeah,
Valve.
the Valve store,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just like being able to play a device that like being able to use a device that has like so much functionality, like equivalent specs, if not better, for a reasonable, like basically an equivalent price, a price that's right there in line with this one. I'd rather go for this. I think this is a horrible time to market a product like this. I think like when knowing the Steam Deck came out, if it was going to be at this price point, I think they should have held back, kept it going in R&D, and then release something that was at least more powerful at a later date. Once we got a little bit further out, a little bit further away from the Steam Deck, it's like Max said, it's like it's the future is handhelds. Like
Mhm.
everyone's coming out with their own handhelds, but there's only enough room for a couple of them before the market's oversaturated. And right now, it feels like the market's becoming oversaturated already. With the
Yeah, it is.
Ayano 2 was just released,
Yeah,
and yeah,
a
it's just
ton of
like,
them right now. Just
yeah, man,
yeah, there's a ton of them right now. It's like
Yeah.
right now, I think only one matters, and that's really the Steam Deck in
yeah.
terms of like
And the
something in this
Switch,
direction, and the Switch. Yeah.
yeah,
Max, what do you got?
Man, this is just kind of. I was looking at my phone, and I was just thinking, you know what? I could just add two little Joy Cons to the end of this, and I would probably have the exact same thing that's on screen right now.
Pretty much.
Yeah, much like actually Matt Bliss had something similar to say in the chat. He says, this is a mobile gaming focused device for kids and teens. Steam Deck is still the PC of mobile gaming, requires too much work to get going for the kidlets. Yeah.
I would still say people would buy the Switch though. Like a parent would still buy the Switch over just because of brand recognition. Like they don't know what they don't know what a Logitech Gcloud handheld gaming device is, and
oh man, that's just another Nintendo.
And they don't know what it can do, but they know what a Nintendo is, and they know that they can put physical games on it. They know they can download games on it, and and they know it's going to be friendly for their child because it has freaking Mario on the box. So, like this, I mean, like if this was going to come out like right now, like I would say like, okay, because I did hear this thing has a beautiful screen.
That's about all that's good about it.
I would say like the price point should have been like closer to like $250, $200 maybe.
200
like
maybe,
200 would have been like the I think the sweet spot, but 250 would have been like, okay, that's acceptable. And just with the current way the market is. But man, it's I don't know. I just don't see this selling. I think they spent a lot of money.
I think they are going to have to lower the price because I don't think this thing is going to sell. And then, I mean, if you do buy this thing, you better have a Switch or a Steam Deck. Otherwise, you better explain it to everybody why you have this device, because it's just I don't see any reason for anyone to go out and buy this, especially at its price point. I mean, you can get a Switch OLED for that price. $50 more, you can have a Steam Deck, and Steam Decks. I mean, you still can't walk into a Best Buy and buy one, but they are becoming more readily available. They are shipping them faster. Like, I think 2 months is like the average wait right now if we were to order one right now. So, I mean, I would just go in that direction.
I'm sure there's a person out there that like can find a use case for this. It's just like I think there's really, because it is more powerful than a Switch.
Yeah, it is.
The screen is relatively better based on specs and what people have saying. I know there's a Switch OLED and so forth, but I think it's the audience is just going to be so small. Is it worth it for Logitech? Is it worth it for them to?
I mean, not really.
I mean, Logitech makes some good products. I'm using one of their cameras right now.
Yeah, same
here. This mouse I have. Yeah, I mean, they have like some great keyboards, and even like some lights too. Like you can get some like good like shiny lights with Logitech. But I mean, I don't think this was a good move for them in terms of going into consoles. At least not a cloud one for $350. So
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. So we'll just have to wait and see how it does. But I mean, I don't have high hopes for this thing. But one thing I did see during the commercials is I guess we saw a white Xbox Series X, but they're saying it's just a skin. So I mean, what were your thoughts on that? If you can find the picture, find us. A white Xbox Series X.
I would just say they should make one. Like I don't think it's like the biggest thing in the world. Let's see.
Yeah, so I'm sharing my screen right here. So
okay.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely should make one. There's definitely an audience that likes white white peripherals, right? White gaming hardware and things of that nature. I'm one of them. Like my house is primarily white right now, so having a big black Xbox, it kind of stands out on my TV stand in my gaming center. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But I think more importantly, I think choices are always nice.
Yeah.
That's why I like that PlayStation 5 is doing what Xbox did with 360, and they're putting out plates so you can customize your console, which
Mhm.
I don't understand why Xbox stopped, and I don't understand why PlayStation hasn't done sooner. Yes, on the PlayStation 4, you could exchange that one little top plate. Yeah, you can put a giant sticker, basically a skin or a decal on your console. I don't like doing that. Taking it off is always a bitch. So like unless I'm keeping it on permanently, like I'm not gonna put it on. And I like once I get tired of stuff. Like if I put like a giant red Spider-Man sticker skin like on my console, that's cool for a quick second, but then I'm gonna be tired of that like in a month or so, and then I'm screwed because I won't be able to take it off, and then I'm end up like with all that sticky residue on my console. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, well, definitely. Well, you should be looking forward to the PS5 then if your house is mostly white because you wouldn't have to change your place or anything once you get it.
Yeah, I still would, but yeah, no.
You still would.
Yeah, I mean, I would change it with my shoes, with my outfit. Depends how I'm feeling that day. If I'm angry, I'll throw some red on there, But yeah, I mean, it's just nice having the options. And I think that's the most fun part. I think yeah, Xbox should come out with a white console.
Yeah, not a white Xbox Series S like they sell in stores. What are your thoughts, Max?
Yeah, I definitely think that being able to kind of mix and match and customize the colors of whatever console that you have, just like the PS5 has that capability, is wonderful. Having a white Xbox Series X, sorry, Xbox Series X is yeah, it's really sleek, and I don't see why you wouldn't want to put that out for sure. I was actually going to ask you guys, because I don't have this machine, like, if this thing has plates, and if so, why don't you just like dunk that in plasti dip and pull it back out?
Oh.
But you might lose your warranty at that point. That's why we need plates. So many people did that when the PS5 came out, and it was so cool. They got plasti dip, and they would tape whatever image that they wanted. So they would cover the plate with tape, they dip it, like for example the Spider-Man PS4 logo, and they'd dip it in red, and they'd pull it out, and they'd take the tape off, and it was like the perfect white spider symbol from the game, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I just with Xbox doing the the customize your controller, like that whole thing, like going that far, they've been able to build an entire business around customizing your controller, like, and it's at a premium price. So why not take the extra step and do that for your consoles also, and extend that portion of the business that you already have, like your player base already knows that they can do that with the controllers. So why not like invest in having that done with your consoles also? Like I can order Xbox Series X. Oh, and I can order it with a special skin on it. And we've seen similar things from like Nike. We've seen similar things from Converse, like where you can send in your design for your shoe and then they'll ship it back to you, or you can like build it out online. Like, come on, like I don't understand like what's taking. Yes, it's gonna you can have that on your main assembly line in your manufacturing plant, and yes, these consoles are at a shortage. They're very hard to come by, but they're getting easier. So I think in terms of the offering, bring the offering, like at least like offer it, and then you can make a potentially more money off the consoles that you would already sell at a standard price. So I don't know. I think there's something there. I think Xbox needs to look at this as a test case, because the fact that this was built into an article, everyone's been talking about this all week, says that there's definitely a market for it, and people were eager, they're excited to hear like, oh, a white Series X, oh my gosh. So come on, Xbox, like listen to
Come
the
on,
people.
Xbox. Yeah,
Get
yeah.
on that.
You do listen to people. I mean, when people make fun of the Xbox Series X and S looking like a fridge, what do? You made a fridge out of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, just things like that. I mean, gotta love Xbox. All right. All right, moving on. Cyberpunk 2077 has made a complete like 180. It is now pulling in more than 1 million players per day. Um, According to this tweet here, it says each day of this week, Night City has been visited by 1 million players, both new and returning. We wanted to use this opportunity to thank you for being with us and playing the game. Thanks, Shooms. And yeah, for the most part, I know this is a game I've been kind of sleeping on for a while. I need to get it. I wanted to get it when it went on sale a while back, but I kind of missed out on that sale. So I will get it eventually. But definitely it has made quite a bit of improvements since its horrible launch. It even got taken off the PlayStation Store at one point, but it's doing better now, and um, it's definitely a game I feel I will be playing soon, sooner rather than later. I mean, I'm just waiting for the right price, and I do want a physical copy of it. So if I can get my hands on it, I will. Max, do you play any Cyberpunk?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been actually playing it since launch,
All right.
and I don't know. I'm glad I did because I've been there to be, you know, being able to view the improvements that have been made since that launch, that abysmal launch, and
Yeah.
playing it on the PS5. That's kind of where I'm at right now
Mm-hmm.
with it. It's such a joy. Like it's still not what was promised, but it's so much more populated. Like glitches and things like that. They're very scarce, far and few between, from what I can see. But the core of it still kind of remains the same. And I think what really kept this game going was the fact that it was incredibly well written, with so many different characters and so many different choices and aspects and ways to play the game. And like the Night City is the main character of this game, and it definitely shows, because it has a way of like infecting and affecting a ton of citizens, and you get to see that, and you get to be part of that, and it's wonderful, and I love those experiences. Um, but yeah, the big kudos though 100% goes to that anime. Um, I,
Mm-hmm.
I binged
Edge
it.
runners.
Yeah,
Yep.
Edge Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Studio Trigger. Like that was amazing. That was something else. So like, hey, if you're an anime fan and you like Gurren Lagann, if you like Kill la Kill, same people. If you love that art style, um, they use a lot of the same music. They're really good at recreating a lot of just like the whole atmosphere of it. And yeah, I can definitely see how something like that definitely gets people more invested to come back and play, especially now that it's in a position that's so much more where it was expected to be.
Mm, definitely. Finest. Have you gotten a chance to play Cyberpunk yet?
No. I was waiting for the updates to happen. So that now that
Mm,
patch 1.16, I believe, is out.
yeah.
I talked about it like 3 episodes ago. Like, yeah, I'm gonna jump back in. I also got done like watching Edge Runners, but I'm on the complete opposite end of Max. I've had this game since I think in March of
Mm.
this year, and I'm so happy that I didn't play it. Like, I'm so happy that I didn't experience it, that is having to see it progress throughout time. I'm very much like I judge a game by my initial playing of it,
Mm,
and sometimes that can be the break. Like
yeah.
sometimes I play something and it's not what I was promised or what I expect, and then I just drop off of it, and I'm not willing to go back. I'm not willing to invest more of my time because my time is precious.
Yeah.
But looking at Edge Runners and then just being so invested in that anime, and yes, Max, you named I wasn't the biggest fan of Kill la Kill. It was just a little bit too weird for me. And it felt like it was like it just a total upskirt anime like the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. but Gurren Lagann, like I was like it motivated me. Like I just wanted to go dig a hole and become a mole man myself and find a little drill like underground. That anime was I think phenomenal, and just seeing I wasn't sure how that was going to translate into Cyberpunk, but now seeing Cyberpunk Edge Runners, I am so much more invested in that universe than I ever was, and I haven't even played the game. And it makes me excited for future IPs in that universe because, as we know, Cyberpunk's not getting any more updates anymore. No, they're still getting updates. Let me rephrase that. They're still getting updates, but they're not getting any more expansions or DLC. So I'm excited to jump into Cyberpunk in essentially a finished state. There's still going to be bug fixes and stuff like that, but I'm excited to get it in a future, like the state that it's currently in. And then in addition to that, I'm excited because now I have a little background that has nothing to do with the game, but it's invested me from the game from like outside perspective when going in. And then I'm gonna get some of the Edge Runner vibes in the game since they've incorporated some of the like mechanics, some of the outfits. They now have transmog and stuff like that in Cyberpunk. I'm all about that. Transmog is like my favorite thing in gaming because you want to look the part. But yeah, I'm super excited to jump into Cyberpunk. It'll probably be my Christmas game. I usually take a week or two off for Christmas, so that'll probably be my big game that I jump into there if I beat God of War. But
I'm sure you'll beat it before Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm sure you will.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I know for me, I think I know eventually I will get this game. I know Matt Bliss, who's watching right now, knows that what kind of computer I have, and so I know he's really egging me on to just play it on PC. Matt, I'm a physical game collector, man. You just don't understand, man. So I will be getting this for the console, the PS4, PS5, whatever the case may be.
You said you're waiting for it to get cheaper though. How much have you seen it for, Jay? Man, like I bought mine for $13, like
yeah,
and that was in March.
Yeah, well, I tried jumping on that $13 deal, but they didn't have any when I tried buying it at the local Best Buy. They said they were out, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and just back to this article. This is only on Steam.
Yeah.
It's a million concurrent users only on Steam. We're not even talking about PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
Yeah.
Just imagine like what did CD Projekt Red say this game was profitable like within like the first couple weeks, and they sold like 13 million units or something like that. Just imagine where they are now. Like now they're quiet. They're like not releasing numbers and stuff, and they're moving on to Witcher and stuff. But just imagine like they took such a huge hit. Like they paid out lawsuits on this game, all the corrections that they had to do, the time and investment that they had to go back in and fix everything. They lost so much money in this game, but just to think about that and how much money they still made is absolutely insane.
It makes you think what could have been if the game was complete from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they definitely did lose out on a lot of money. All right, so moving on. Rare on Goldeneye 007's return. Apparently, they wanted to make it happen. There's a quote here. We just kept talking until we made it happen. So Craig Duncan from Rare talks about trying to get Goldeneye back on these current consoles, the Xbox and Nintendo Switch. He says, to be honest, it took us longer than I wanted it to. We tried to get it lined up for when we did Rare Replay back in 2015, if you guys remember that, which was Rare's 30th anniversary. So, yeah, they've been trying to do this for a while. So this wasn't no like, hey, we're gonna just try doing it, or like the rumors sounds like they were true. He also goes on and says, as you can imagine, things involving licenses and published games just have complexity. Excuse me. There were lots of conversations with our friends at Nintendo, the folks at MGM. They had to be involved to make that happen, and the folks at Xbox. And we just kept talking until we made it happen. So I'm proud of that. That MGM had to be involved too, because it was a movie. Goldeneye is actually one of my favorite 007 movies. Actually, it's a really good movie in my opinion. So definitely, if you guys haven't seen that film, definitely check it out. But back to Goldeneye, coming to Switch and Xbox. Max, are you excited to play some Goldeneye on your Nintendo Switch, or You're just gonna let the retro gamers go at it.
All right, so I love Goldeneye like so many other people do, but
Mhm.
being like, if I can be honest with you and Finus and Craig Duncan, who's clearly listening, this is a PC game. It has always been so much better as a PC game, always. Whether there's so many different ways to play it, and there's like a huge kind of like modding community that like has recreated it in so many different ways, and it's just so much better than having it like in a controller. And usually I'm not the type of guy that preaches like all mouse and keyboard better than controller. Like if it works, it works. But I don't know if we'll see how optimized it will be for the Switch, and how it plays. I want it to be good. I'd love it to be good. And if honestly, I'll probably still get it no matter what, because that N64 lineup, just in general, like with 3 Mario parties from the past, was it the snowboarding 1080? Like,
yeah, 1080. That was a good game.
oh my god, like
Excite Bike 64. You got the 2
Excite
Pokemon
Bike.
Stadium games, Pilot Wings. Yeah, I think a lot more people are going to be signing up for that Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack now. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I totally disagree with both you guys because they're not optimized.
What?
They're not optimizing it for the Switch.
Well, I
Okay.
know they're not, but it's going to have online play. So, I mean, people are just going to get it anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
online play on the Switch. Oh, something to celebrate. That's gonna be trash. It's gonna be such trash. And and we all seen Nintendo's just their run with emulation. It's gonna be horrible. If you're gonna play this game, you have to play it on the Xbox.
But they're not going to have online play. But, I mean, it'll be
They're
look
not-
better on Xbox, but it'll be
they're
at
gonna
4K.
They're gonna have local. They're gonna have local, local play co-op. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you're not gonna be able to play online, but I mean, all the fun was playing and looking at someone else's screen when you were playing, and seeing what they were doing anyway. Like
all the fun was cheating.
All the
Pretty
fun was
much.
cheating. Yeah, but I mean, on
Pretty much.
Xbox, you're getting Ultra HD, you're getting 4K. It's going to be native 16:9.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's at the controls. They're updating the controls on Xbox. So I mean, are you guys gonna buy the Nintendo 64 controller to play this game? Because I doubt
No.
Nintendo's gonna optimize the controls. I really doubt it. So just all around, I say this is a pass. I think this is purely a nostalgia grab, which
Oh, it is.
Nintendo,
Yeah, it totally
which
is.
Nintendo does like hand in foot. But at least
Uh-huh.
if you're gonna do that, at least optimize the game for current consoles and current graphics, and is the basic. But I feel like the only reason why Microsoft was able to get it was this because of course Rare is under the
Yeah.
Microsoft banner.
Yeah.
So this was a licensing nightmare, I'm sure. For them.
I'm sure it was.
Which is why we're talking about this 7 years later when they were trying to do this in 2015. And I think the only caveat was like Nintendo was like, okay, we'll do it, but like we get like the online or something. There was some deviation.
There was some kind of deal.
And then Xbox was like, okay, we'll only do like local co-op, and but we're gonna upgrade our graphics and we're gonna do all this. And Nintendo was like, yeah, we don't care about that because we don't upgrade graphics at all.
We don't care about graphics.
Man, like, yeah. So okay, I'm happy to play this on the Xbox. I'm glad it's gonna be optimized. I will be sitting on my couch with whoever wants to come over and play. But I will. Yeah, even if I could play this on the Switch, I would not, because
You would not.
It's
you're just a Switch hater. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm far from a Switch hater. I think it's a wonderful piece of technology, but I think since its inception, it's been underutilized and not managed correctly. So that's yep. I'm on a roll tonight.
Yeah,
man,
I know you are.
Hey man, that's all right. I just want to preface again. I think it's better with the mouse.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully we get this game by the end of the year. I think it's going to be a Christmas gift for all. if you know what I mean. So definitely um, be on the lookout for that and the rest of the games that are coming to the Switch Online service. And um, it'll be on Game Pass. So I'll try both. Maybe I'll renew my Game Pass for a month and see how GoldenEye runs on the Xbox One. Anyway, all right. Enough with the nostalgia grab. We move on to uh, let's see where was I?
Sony PC
Oh
strategy.
oh yeah, so many CD. Oh yeah, so pretty much. What the where the heck did? All right, hold on. So sorry guys, just give me a second. All right, there we go. All right, so let's see. Sony's PC strategy looks like it has been doing pretty good so far on its PC strategy with its Spider-Man. And we've all liked Spider-Man for the most part, remastered, and it's doing well on the PC. So their CD strategy has been working. So Steven Totilo, he has a tweet here. It's not just Spider Man. Here's how four PlayStation games shot up in the U.S. sales charts when they were ported to PC. And let's see, it's ranked before. So I'm just gonna go before and then rank after. So we'll start with Horizon Zero Dawn. Came out in August of 2020. Ranked before was 89. After it went up to 12. Days Gone didn't do very well in general, but it was at 247 before, ranked up to a 20. That was a big increase. God of War ranked before 146, after a 5, and then Marvel Spider-Man ranked before 84. Now it's a 3. So I mean it is making I mean the games that they have ported over to PC have been doing very well, and I can only see this improving. What do you say, Finest? You think the next PC titles that come to that go to PC for Sony will be good ones
Yeah, I
in
mean
terms of ranking
we
up.
have Uncharted and Miles Morales coming next. So,
Yeah, Uncharted.
um,
That's gonna be good.
yeah, you know what? I think it's kind of the thing that I, well, I mean, first I would say, I think Sony's strategy is I think they're kind of like no duh. It's like working for PC. Like you're optimizing games that are only available on a single console, and you're optimizing it, and you're allowing anyone that has a PC to play it. The PC is the largest market in the world in terms of gaming, so it's just like no duh. Like you could have did this years ago, but I think it was a very like Japanese business move in terms of
Mm,
like PlayStation stuck in their ways, and they
Hmm.
don't iterate. They don't iterate unless they have to. They don't want to change the formula unless they have to. And I think that's why we see like certain people brought in from other industries and other businesses, because they're not they they're kind of they're just really hesitant to move forward in making too big of changes. I like to use the the move controllers as my the best example.
mm-hmm.
Once it was proven by Nintendo that the move controllers were a successful thing and people like moving, like PlayStation like doubled down. They're like, oh yeah, we come up with our own move controllers. Everyone said they're going to do VR, and the Oculus Quest was a proven thing. Kickstarted, blah blah blah, picked up, purchased by Facebook. Sony's like, oh yeah, we're going to do a VR headset. Um, just even vibration and controls, like it was already a thing prior to the dual shock controllers, and Sony was quick to implement that too on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, I can keep on going. There's also like
Yeah.
CD players and DVD players, like like in the PlayStations. Yeah, it's just Sony very much is stuck in their ways, and I just in terms of them putting games on PC, yeah, it wasn't gonna hurt your business. There was no aspect of that was gonna hurt your business. And for PlayStation to even think for a second, like even debating like whether it was worth it, It's like, even if these games didn't top the charts, like, you're still making millions and millions of dollars without putting in a ton of extra work, because most of these games, especially with the PlayStation architecture, are they're basically developed on a PC for PCs, and then their architecture is altered to suit the AMD processor that's within the PlayStation 5. They stopped doing proprietary architecture after the PlayStation 3. So PlayStation 4 and 5 are basically PCs. So I think it was just a simple move. I'm glad they're building a division dedicated to this, and they're gonna make that much more money. I just wish they would pass some of that money off to the gamer. But,
Yeah, definitely. Max?
Hey, I can't. I don't know how much I can add to Finus's all-encompassing, amazing review of that. But you're right. Like it's a no-brainer side hustle to just be like, hey, you want to make some extra cash? Put these already PC optimized, basically games on the PC. You'll see a massive resurgence in older titles. Huge sales. You're gonna break a ton of your records. Like, just, it's a no-brainer. It's just like, why so stuck in your ways? Why is it taking you this long? Why is it just, this is a great benefit to you? And you're right. Like, the only caveat with that is, like, yeah, what are we as the consumers, as the gamers, like, gonna see? Like, I don't particularly want to purchase Uncharted 1 again at full price, at like full, like, 2022 price, which for me is like $79.99 Canadian. So
Yeah. Only if Nintendo would do this, which I know they never would, but only if Sony's doing it and they're proving they can, be successful by porting their games to PC. Nintendo could too, but what we said for years about them, they shy away at making money when they can, but
do it our way and you'll like it.
yeah, pretty much. We'll stay with Sony for a bit. Sony's Shuhei Yoshida, I hope I said his name right. He pretty much just thanks Meta for getting VR out of a slump. So I know he had a quote here. Yeah, here it is. It says, thanks to Meta, they are doing a great job of promoting the Quest, so more people are coming in to try VR for the first time. So, he pretty much had that to say about it. So, any reaction to, his quote, or if you feel that VR was in a slump for a while until Meta and Oculus 2. Finance, I know you're a big VR guy. So
I'm still thrown off by you saying Meta.
Meta. My bad. Meta.
All the times we talked about the metaverse, and you're over here, Meta.
Metaverse.
I'm sorry. I'm just picking on you. He's right to think. He's right to think. Meta. I was about to say Meta. He's right to thank them. We could have very much seen, like, VR falling off like 3D TVs. Like 3D TVs were all the rage. People were picking them up, like, it was the thing to do, and it was the thing to, like, go to your house and wear these glasses so you can see 3D. Yeah. But we saw how that worked out. I kind of felt that way with VR. Essentially, like, when the Oculus, after it was kickstarted and it was picked up by Facebook, we saw instant price increase. From there, we saw all these other companies come out, but it wasn't necessarily the hardware that was too impactful. It was really just the games weren't there for the most case. There was a couple of shining stars out there. There was a couple of games that were ported nicely to VR, but for the most case, there wasn't a lot of games. It was a lot of tech demos, and yeah, it was a lot of people getting motion sick. I still
Yeah.
know so many people that are like, oh, VR, I did that before, I'm never going back in. And I was like, it's really hard to convince a person and be like, hey, this isn't the same VR that you experienced like 5 years ago, you know. So yeah, I'm happy that, you know, Meta is opened that market. They've, you know, they got rid of the cord. They provided a
Yeah.
product and supported the product pretty well, pretty well throughout the last, you know, several years. So I'm excited for the future because, you know, PlayStation was paying attention very closely to what Meta was doing, and that's why they're coming out with this new headset that is going to be better, essentially better than the Quest 2. But I also know that they're paying attention to what PlayStation's doing. So whenever
Mm.
PlayStation comes out with their headset, I
They're
know
gonna
Mark
strike back.
Zuckerberg. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is going to already get a strike back. But he already said his next one's coming out this year, I believe he said. Whatever their next VR headset is, but we'll
Mm.
see.
Max, are you big on VR? I don't think we've ever talked to you about VR. I could be wrong, but
I think in passing, but
yeah.
I was one of those people who definitely viewed VR as a massive gimmick.
Okay, that's
I never
fair.
found, yeah, like initially I never found anything that really caught my eye that really made me, want to pick something up like that. It was honestly in the same camp as like the Kinect, for example.
Mm.
Like, just great, cool. I'm glad it exists and it's kind of neat, but yeah, there was nothing there that I really stood out to me. But now, you know, I think what really turned me on to VR specifically was Resident Evil 7. Playing that in VR was
Mm.
like, just amazing. And from there, I was just like, okay, I see I see where the appeal is. I see where this is, could potentially go. Um, so I'm just kind of I'm very happy that like it's working out, and I'm also happy that they got rid of a cord. It's just like, who
Yeah.
wants to play VR with a leash, um, but yeah, no. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm just sitting and waiting and watching, and you know, Finus's optimism for VR is definitely rubbing off. So I may, yeah, I may. You may see me sporting some headgear in the next, like, I don't know, little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's PSVR 2. Still no release date, still no price announced yet, but we will be talking about it soon whenever it is released. Well, not released, but announced.
First quarter next year.
First quarter next year. All right,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be sometime first quarter of next year. Also, I don't think it's going to be coming this holiday season. I think they
they
just already
announced
announced
next
it.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
already announced
So,
first quarter next year. Yeah.
all right. So sounds good. Now we're just waiting on the price. So,
Mm.
all right. A little bit of Xbox news, and then we will get on to our game spotlight. Just real quick, they updated the library on the Xbox. Um, on the Xbox library, overhauls games library, and adds storage options and more. So, if you do have a Xbox Series X or S or Xbox One, definitely check out some of those updates that they have done. And another update that they have done is they have eased up on DRM restrictions on many of their games. So, it's a big win for video game preservationists and anyone else who imagine running recent Xbox games in the far future without having to worry about the status of any remote servers, which is a very big win. Definitely. We'll have the link in the show notes, so definitely read through the DRM restrictions. Max, any thoughts on these updates from Xbox?
Um, yeah, like I'm pretty. I don't know. As a non Xbox owner, I'm happy to see that there's a lot more being added. Definitely to the service for a lot of people because, like I've said many times in the past on this show and like a bit on my own, like I don't think Xbox is doing super hot, and anything that they can do to kind of anything really minuscule, massive, doesn't matter, it's going to be beneficial, I think, in my opinion. But a lot of Xbox lovers out there still, definitely probably are like, what shaking their head and be like, what are you talking about? Go get an Xbox, find out for yourself, know what you're talking about. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm happy that there's ease of DRM restriction on games, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. F-Man, you have an Xbox Series X. Have you run any of these updates yet or not?
It's updated. I haven't played around with it though.
Okay.
So there's like things like where you can like change the light on your controller.
Mm.
You can basically customize your dashboard like so much more.
Yeah.
Folders, changing your library, just making your entire experience that more streamlined, which is great because I hated the Xbox dashboard. I like for the
Yeah.
most part, I almost always have like I there's points and times where I enjoyed it, but no, for the most part, it hasn't been my favorite dashboard. Sony sucks too, so just to let you know,
Yes.
I'm not a fan of
Sony,
it.
yeah, Sony
Uh,
needs to go back to that XMB theme they had on the PS3.
yeah, but I'm not a fan of any of their interfaces really. But anyway, yeah, super excited about that. So it's gonna take me probably like several hours to customize my dashboard how I like it. That's the reason why I haven't dove into there quite yet.
Mm.
I think the most important part of this article is just the Xbox easing up on their DRM.
Yeah, on the DRM.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
digital rights management.
Mm.
As you mentioned, it's great for game preservation, but even more so. And this is the issue that we Xbox had like when it announced the Series S. Wait, was this Series S or just it was the Xbox One? I'm
Xbox
sorry,
One. Yeah, you're thinking
Xbox
of that
One.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, when they announced that, then they mentioned that like during that press conference, everything about it was the thing that everyone booed. It's
Mm.
like, hey, all your
Yeah.
games are gonna ping to a server. Have to ping to a server, and then and yeah, it's always gonna you're always gonna be connected online. You're always gonna have to be connected online to play your games, and everyone booed that. But low key, Xbox has already still been doing it.
Mm.
Like, especially this generation. So it's nice to know that I can have my single player game and not
Yep.
have to worry about it pinging to a server. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't, that I can still play it. That is the biggest bullshit about like the current generation is like
Yeah.
if I'm missing an update for a game that has no multiplayer and I don't have online, I don't have Wi-Fi, I cannot play that game. And so the fact that they're easing up on that was a necessity,
Yeah.
really.
That's
And
good.
it needs to just be a standard throughout the industry, like going forward. Like, yeah, you can connect it to a server, connect it online, and then get updates. Totally fine, but that should be an option. It should not be a requirement. So happy that they're easing up on it. Yeah, if it's not a multiplayer game, don't put this shit in my game, like, or just allow me to turn it off. Like it's
Yeah.
fine. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, that's the main thing for me. That's the main takeaway from this, and I'm happy that it's being installed because I felt like I was really screwed in terms of like the
Yeah.
future of gaming, and I'm just like, well, most of my games are going to be useless after this generation or during this generation if I can't go online. But now that's not the case. So
Yeah, that definitely. I think it's a big win, definitely for us gamers out there that game on that platform. Speaking of games, let's talk about some games. Game Spotlight. We haven't done this one in a while, so I put out 3 games. Some good, some bad. Saints Row, uh, Return to Monkey Island, and Splatoon 3. So we can start with Saints Row, the bad one. For the most part, there was an article out there that the CEO sounds disappointed about the reboot sales in the game, and for the most part, it didn't live up to expectations, unfortunately, and it really hurts me because me, Finance. I'm a big Saints Row fan. I was looking forward to this game, and
yeah, you said
I
you were
was,
buying
I,
it like in
Yeah.
February. Like you were
yeah,
like, I'm a day one
I was,
buyer, and I was like,
yeah,
I was like, what? I was taken aback. I was like, are you
Yeah.
sure about that?
Well, I mean, hey, I didn't know that it was going to be as bad as it was, but I mean, it looks like they did nothing new in terms of like, the gameplay. I mean, maybe the car chases are fine, but for the most part, to come in at 62, I'm just thinking like I was optimistic about them rebooting it. I thought, hey, maybe they could do it right because the last game was a bit too wacky, but now it's just that this it just they made some characters that no one really cares about, and it's
Mm,
just they didn't need to. If they were going to reboot it, they should have kept like the same characters. In my opinion, they didn't need to just do all this. Eventually, I think I still will play it, but it's just a matter of when I'll play it. I mean, I'm even hearing from some people it's not even worth a Black Friday deal right now. So I mean, it's disappointing. 62 Metascore, and yeah, that's not good. And Volition. Oh boy, like I think this could be the end of the Saints Row franchise. What do you think, Max?
end of the Saints Row franchise. Oh, I don't. That really, you think it's going to be the end?
Well,
Wow.
maybe you never know. I mean, unless they go back to some of the formula that they did for Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3, and or remaster some of those old games, like maybe like
Wow.
the first Saints Row game for Xbox, which I still
Yeah.
have not played to this day. But I mean, Saints Row 2, that was a good game. The third, definitely the best one in the series. 4 was good. They also put out that what is it, Agents of Mayhem, which was
Yeah.
okay. It wasn't great, but I think it's better than this game for the most
Yeah.
part.
I only ask because like you've played it, and I've
Yeah.
only personally I've watched a few like just let's plays of it, like just for a
Mm.
couple of missions, just to kind of see how it was, because I was a big fan of Saints Row the Third, and I don't know, maybe just watching it on YouTube, I just kind of felt like it didn't really like graphically look all that different. Like when I played it on the Xbox 360, it still kept like that wacky tone, but I don't know. It is a disappointment. I 100%. Um, I don't know. I'm glad I watched somebody else play it before like making a decision about it myself. That's for sure. But I don't know. But I still can't see it. I don't know. I can't see it totally killing it off. I think what they'll do is they'll take like Saints Row 2, 3, and 4, maybe remaster them, or like 1, 2, 3, and remaster them and bring them back to kind of like the forefront and be like, okay, so check this out, and
Mm.
maybe that will kind of like a phoenix from the ashes.
Yeah.
Well, they've already remastered the game, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, they have?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, the third one, I don't think they've remastered 1 or 2,
yeah.
so they have not
1 or
done
2.
those. So maybe those, but I
But
mean,
yeah, I mean, so they've already commented on the status of the game, and the future of it, and the game is profitable. So that's already a key thing,
mm,
Did they make as much money as they wanted to? No. Are they? No.
mm,
Unfortunately, the game wasn't good, but the fact that it wasn't good and they were still able to make their money back and a little extra, is pretty solid considering the reception that this game came out to. But the developers on Twitter commented that in terms of the future of the franchise, they said that, well, I'll just read it and quote, asked if the game's performance will impact the future of the franchise's future. And they said, obviously, you always want every installment of any IP to be greater than the last one. But what you do is evaluate your position and the outcome. And then there might be, I think there's a little bit more to it, the quote. But yeah, I think that gives a good indication of, how they're feeling about this. And it's a maybe. Like they're just
mm,
it's a wait and see at this time.
Mhm.
But I mean, if they didn't make their money back, yeah, you damn right, the game
yeah,
would probably, the franchise would be dead, or at least by this developer.
yeah,
They might hand it off to someone else in like 5 years and see if someone like they can do anything with it. But as of right now, yeah, they're still evaluating to see what the game does overall in a course of a year or whatever their fiscal time frame looks like in terms of financial sales. So yeah, I'm you can't make I think Mark in our Discord said it best. You can't make a shitty game and then have low expectations, or you can't have like you can't have high expectations or something like that. Sorry, Mark, if I quoted you wrong, but yeah, it's true. You can't put out a game that's broken. And I don't know how broken they I don't know how broken or I don't know how uh, I, I don't know if they knew the game was as broken as it was. Is all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But regardless, you can't put out a game that isn't amazing and then expect high praise.
Yeah, you need quality control.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if for me, like, good quality game. I think it being broken kind of just contributed to it, because if it just came out, feels all perfect, and it just didn't live up to the expectation of the other games, and it's like, okay, I can live with that. I'll bite the bullet there. But the fact that it was broken and it didn't live up to the expectations of the other games, it's a bit of a red flag. But we'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
It failed on all fronts. It wasn't just like graphics or bugginess. It was like story, characters, development, gunplay,
the gunplay
which was super
horrible.
big. Yeah, there's like so many facets to where it did not succeed. So those are all things. That's what you need to evaluate before you make a new game. Is like, can we deliver on all these things that we dropped the ball on and within the first game? And I think that's the most important thing, because there's a lot of feedback out there, and if you can't parse through it and feel like you can create a solid game based on that feedback and based on this infrastructure, this test, then don't make another game.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. We'll just have to wait and see. But as a Saints Row fan, I am pretty disappointed. All right, well, let's get on to Return to Monkey Island. Now, Mark, also from our Discord, he, he was, raving about this game. It has a 88 on Metacritic, at least the PC version. I think I'm looking at the Switch version. It's 84, but it's a good game. I think he's a little bummed out that it's not on other platforms. Do we see this game coming to PS5 and Xbox Series later on down the line, Finest?
Possibly.
Yeah. It can run it. It's on that and iOS, I believe, too. So.
Yeah. Devolver Digital. They often a lot of their games are multi-platform. I think it's just in terms of how much did they want to spend on this game before they release it other consoles, before they invest the time and money in putting it out there. So yeah, I don't see any reason why not. I think it'll come to other consoles eventually.
All right, Max, what are your thoughts? Do you think this game's coming to other consoles with how it's been doing so far?
Well, absolutely. Like the original Monkey Island series, like I've never played them myself. I believe they're kind of like Space Quest, King's Quest type of games where they're point and click and puzzle solver and a lot of madcap fun. Like, people love those kinds of throwbacks, and to be able to play them on other platforms, like, yeah, people are if there's money to be made, that's the key, 100%. So I definitely see this happening.
All right, for sure. And then definitely. And then the last game, Splatoon 3, and this game's been making quite a bit of noise. Actually, they're doing their Splatfest this weekend, so I know some people who are jumping in on that. It hasn't really resonated with me too much. I still like with the paint and everything. It's like, it's fun. It looks good, but I don't know, man. I played Splatoon 2, and it was all right. Max, you got a Switch. Do you plan on jumping into Splatoon 3 or?
Splatoon makes me feel old, man. Like, I'm still like, I still think Splatoon 1 is a new game.
Oh wow!
I was just like, I blinked and we're already on 3. I'm like, oh my. How old am I? Anyway,
Yeah.
we won't answer that. But I think I might jump into this actually. It
I'm
definitely
thinking
looks.
about it. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about it.
thinking. Um, have you played Splatoon 1 or 2, Justin?
I played two. I have not played one.
Oh, okay. And what are your thoughts about it? Was pretty good.
It was all right. I mean, for the little bit of time I played it, I mean, it's just like you just got to keep painting like the certain stuff, and then like you go underneath or whatever. So it's.
Okay.
I mean, it seems
That
like.
was the worst description of
Yeah.
Splatoon that I've ever heard. Ever. You got to paint this stuff, and then you know once you paint it, you go under it, and yeah. Man, Splatoon 3 is so wonderful. Like Nintendo doesn't have shooters. I think I've
Yeah.
championed Splatoon like I think last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I
But
think it was 2 weeks ago.
yeah, like Nintendo doesn't have shooters, and this is the closest thing to Nintendo has to a shooter. But even more importantly, like no one else does family friendly shooters, and this is that. Okay, Max, I see what you're doing there. I won't make this rant too long, but like just to think that like no one else has been creative enough to do anything besides guns, and then to just see Splatoon really just take what you can do with guns and really just create a whole genre around paint guns, essentially around paint rollers and things of that nature, and then just make the mechanics that unique. Just a really unique art style that I really vibe with. And yeah, I think this is, I mean, Splatoon 3 has been making such waves because it's
Mhm.
actually a good game. The online is relatively decent, which is great. They did a in-game chat, so you don't have to use the dongle. Like you don't have to use the phone voice chat.
Most
In
people just use
addition,
Discord, but yeah.
yeah, I mean that's always Discord's always the preference, but
Uh-huh.
the fact that the developers were able to jump in there and create a chat system in game that you don't have to use Nintendo's uh they're
Formal.
essentially
Yeah.
they're their regular chat, their phone chat, whatever. I think is really big, especially in a multiplayer shooter game. um they've implemented like new characters, new gameplay, new weapons, and then like I think it's awesome. I did this is like I said before, like in terms of a multiplayer game, which I said a couple weeks ago, this
Mm.
game should be everywhere and should be cross-platform because this game deserves it. The developers deserve it, and it needs it to support the community and support like continued growth. Like Splatoon is one of those games that it would benefit to be everywhere. And
Yeah.
man, it is such a great game. One was great. I have not played two. I have not played three,
Mm.
but I really want to because just there's nothing else like it, and I think that's the most important part about this is it's a new IP that is done well, and it takes the genre and flips it on its head, and it does it as it should, and it does it better than anyone else. I absolutely love it. Yeah, this is a great game.
All right. Well, if you ever do get a Switch, I know Splatoon 3 will be on your list of games that you buy. That's probably, I think that's like your favorite game for the Switch.
Yeah,
Ever.
you'd be
Yeah, yeah.
wrong, but in
Oh,
terms of
maybe.
if I'm playing a multiplayer shooter, yeah,
Yeah.
this would
All
be
right.
the
Definitely.
number one
Okay.
on Switch. Mhm.
All
Selling
right.
me on VR and selling me on Inklings. Love it.
Inklings.
I was
All
going to call
right.
them Squiblings.
All
Yeah,
right.
you still wouldn't be wrong, but yeah, Inklings would be the right term. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move on to our this week's discussion. First, we'll start with G4 TV. As we know, they have been going through some recent layoffs. You know, they had those like last week. There was I was like whatever, but now looks like they're losing some of uh, their on air personalities also. Um, in my opinion, uh, I don't think that this network should have come back with the numbers it's been pulling right now. Looking at their video views, if you go to their YouTube channel anyway, looks like someone was just trying to, bank this off nostalgia. Nostalgia can be a good thing, and in some cases it could be a bad thing. So, definitely just go over the recent layoffs. Looks like Indiana Black, aka Frost, was let go, and then Adam Pereira, Pereira, I
Yeah,
hope it's
Pereira, you got
yeah,
it.
Pereira, yeah, yeah, he left also, but it's looking like that he left because looks like him leaving was already planned months down the line. It wasn't that he was let go. I think it was kind of bad timing with him leaving Attack of the Show, but his intention was always to relaunch the network and then go on to other opportunities. So pretty much he was just there to help. The new host of Attack of the Show, by the way, will be WWE superstar Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed. So hopefully, does a good job of doing that. With these recent layoffs and departures, do you guys feel that this network is in a good spot right now? Should it have come back? And if you don't think so, how much longer do you think this network will last? Finance, I know you're a big G4 fan. You watched it a lot back in the day. We'll start with you. I'm interested on your opinion on this.
Yeah, I think just the current world, like, like I told you
Mm,
guys, like at my job, like recently there was like a mass layoff. We're seeing that throughout like tech industries and throughout
mm,
just all different types of businesses. Just as a kind of like we shift on how we work and how we do things. I do I think this do I think G4 is and potentially in trouble? Yeah, like I do.
mm,
I was there day one when their launch of it, and I watched quite a few hours. It was pretty long. I watched like
yeah,
3 hours of G4. And I was happy to see Adam back, and I was happy to see uh, yeah, I don't know. Pereira. It's
yeah,
not Adam Pereira, is it? It's not.
yeah.
It's a
Kevin, or
Kevin
no?
Pereira. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Kevin
I
Cabrera.
was
Yeah,
happy to see Kevin back and Adam
mm,
back. But the entire show was different. It was
yeah,
it was nothing like the original. So for those of us that did watch the original G4 back in the day, and coming in and having like no sense of relationship with the new show, I think was already an issue with the show. Like it was too far off. Like yes, they got like some old host back, but it
mm,
was just so they could it was such a convergent. Like they just distanced
yeah,
themselves as far as they could from the original show, which we loved. So just G4 and doing that was already it kind of it had the opportunity to build a new audience, but you lost your old audience. Um,
yeah,
so I think that was the issue. But in regards to the layoffs and stuff like that, I really don't have a opinion or a comment about that.
mm,
We're seeing this with IGN. I mean IGN.
yeah,
We're seeing this with Game Informer. Game
yeah. Game
Informer has
Informer. Yeah,
has consistently had mass layoffs. I think that's partly because of people like us. There's so
yeah,
many places to listen about like listen and talk about video games and hear about video games. There's like so many Reddits, there's so many podcasts, there's so many shows, so many YouTube videos, there's so many different avenues to get your information now. I think it's really a hard market to push through
yeah,
and really be noticed. So even G4 with being like a already known quantity,
mm,
it was still very tough. It was going to be a tough thing as to
yeah.
what the amount of money that was invested into that show to really bring it back with a bang. Yeah, so I don't know. Those are my opinions on it. I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah. Well, just yeah. I'll get to you in a second, second, Max. But yeah,
Yeah, go
just
for it.
yeah. I mean, it really sucks to just see anyone get laid off, and like Fina said, with Game Informer, but just G4 coming back. I mean, it was gone for so many years, and it's just like, oh, we're gonna try it again. I mean, I watched that Thanksgiving special that they had. That was cool, but when they came around in the early mid 2000s, that was pretty much our only choice. in terms of getting your only video game news. Now it's like you have a lot of choices. So it's like if you're not liking what you see on G4 or this network that came out of nowhere for a new gamer or a young gamer who was like a baby when G4 was in its heyday, it's like I'm gonna watch IGN, I'm gonna watch GameSpot, I'm gonna watch this YouTuber, that YouTuber. Just I mean, there are more options out there now. So it just kind of it kind of came back at the wrong time. Yeah, I'd say in my opinion. And is it someone trying to make money off a nostalgia act? I think a little bit to an extent. I mean, I thought maybe someone thought the name was going to carry it over. That all the old audience would come back, but the old audience, we're older now. It's just like, hey, we got kids, and just in my opinion, just I mean, I watched the premiere like you did. Find and watch the whole thing. But like watching some of the other shows, like I watch some of their videos every now and then if it's like something I'm interested in. But like Attack of the Show just is not that interesting to me. I'm just being honest. Like X Play is okay, but it's like it's just not a great show. I can think of many YouTubers out there. Well, not many. Several YouTubers out there that's better than that. So I mean, that's just I think it's just that the quality of the product just hasn't been great, and just a lot like you said, finance. I think they've really distanced themselves from what they used to do, and it's just that's not worked out for them. What do you think, Max?
You know, it's the it's definitely the age we live in right now where the
Yeah.
things that we loved when we were younger are being brought back in a way that we hate for a lot of people, or just in a way that like it's not the same. It's a pale imitation of what it used to be. Like you see it all the time, like with there was a lot of kids shows I remember, um like iCarly was a kids
Mm-hmm.
show that I grew up with. That's on Paramount Plus, and it's like an adult version of it, of this Nickelodeon show. Or like they're doing Lord of the Rings right now on Amazon Prime. Like, and so many people are upset with it. Just old fans and things like that who just really have these loves for this love for this these mediums, this content, and bringing things back sometimes. I think um like when they were when you're when you're at your height and you leave, you should just keep it away. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I think, to be safe. But in terms of like I don't know, the just the format itself. I know Finus, you mentioned this. It's and yeah, and Justin as well. Like it's you have YouTube. There's so many people giving out gaming news and gaming information, and like people like us. Like we even we provide this kind of stuff. And like the only time you see daytime like talk shows are on like daytime television, like and they're not like a huge, they're just not a huge thing anymore. And that's kind of, I don't know, it's yeah, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
things. It's
And
and
they put out their content. They put out their content like on Twitch
Yeah.
and I don't know. There was also on TV. On I don't even know what carrier and stuff like that. But even that like made it like more confusing. It was
Yeah.
Mhm.
like, oh, how do you watch G4? It's like, oh, well, I think you can watch it on Twitch or you can watch it. But when do you watch it? When does it come on? I don't know. It comes on, this hour it was just kind of a little hard to follow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was.
If you subscribe to their channels or whatever the case may be. It wasn't like the old days, like you jump on TV, you knew exactly the time slot that it was going to be on,
Yeah.
and then you jump on it and you watch it and so forth. So yeah, it was kind of spread out in too many places. I feel like also,
Mm.
rather this being dedicated to like a single, pardon me, a single place.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know, just sad. I'm
Yeah.
just sad to see all these layoffs happening. More
Yeah.
than
Mhm.
anything.
I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I don't see the network lasting too much longer. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
my opinion. We'll hopefully they can make it. I mean, maybe if they didn't go into too many mediums, just they should have just kept it simple with just a straight Twitch and YouTube. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what carrier it's on myself. I mean, I don't watch it on when I do watch my YouTube TV. I don't think it's on there. It might be, but I mean, when I do see like their programs, mainly just through YouTube for the most part. But hopefully it gets better for them. I mean, I wish them nothing but the best. I mean, I don't like to see anyone lose their jobs or anything like that. And I know the people who work there work very hard. So I mean, I would like to see it succeed. This part of the gaming community now that it's back. So I mean, we can only hope that that they they pull together and hopefully you can see them get out of the soul. But I'm just being honest. I see the writing on the wall. I don't see it lasting much longer. All right. Enough with the G4 TV. Our final topic. Grand Theft Auto 6 footage is leaked. So pretty much, looks like they got hacked earlier in the week. Rockstar or Take Two, whatever you want to call it, looks like they their server was hacked, and what was released of what they're working on the upcoming GTA 6. Good news is hacker has been arrested. Well, the one who they think hacked it, he's part of some hacking group, also behind the Uber hack as well. Um, I have not seen any, images. I'm really trying to stay clear of that stuff. I'm not trying to see like any of the early development, like with the video and all that stuff. But how do y'all feel about the hack? And do you think that Rockstar and any other developers can prevent this thing from happening? We can start with you, Max. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Just do what Bungie did, hack them back.
Go after the hackers.
Go after them. But I don't know. Like when I initially heard that there were leaks, again, I'm like you guys. Like I stay away from it for the most part. But the thing that you gotta keep, one thing to keep in mind too is like, is this a leak or is this like a leak? You know what I mean? Where it's like great publicity, not a big, huge deal or anything like that. But no, there was actual legal ramifications to this. So we can safely say that this was like a serious breach of, the information that Rockstar 2K, wanted to keep on a lid on. And that incredibly sucks. People have been waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6 for like, oh God, at least 8 years.
Yeah,
8 years.
I was gonna say like a decade. Yeah,
almost a decade. Yeah, it was almost a decade. Yeah, next year will be 10 years when GTA 5 came out. So people have been waiting since the last game for GTA 6. So I mean, it sucks for the developers who worked so hard on it. It's just like a slap in their face. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? Like,
yeah. And it's just like, if you're like this noble, like Robin Hood hacker, it's just like, what are you giving to the public? Like some unfinished images and polygons, or like, for the general public to be like, wow, that looks like crap. And it's like, of course it does. It's not done. Like, you're like, I don't know. I don't know what the motivations of this guy were. Maybe he just wanted to hack.
Well, it wasn't just hacking, because he offered to sell the source code. So
okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
Some people just want to watch the world burn. But no, it is incredibly scummy. Like, again, earlier in the episode, I joking about this, but like it is incredibly difficult to be a game developer in this day and age, and having your work, your naked, unfinished work thrown around and like sold to whatever by like whoever, it's a complete slap into the face. You're right. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So riled up.
So our audience doesn't even know what happened. So Justin, can you give us a rundown of actually what we're talking about and what happened?
So Rockstar Games was recently suffered a network intrusion in which an unauthorized third party illegal access and downloaded confidential information from their systems, including early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto game or GTA 6.
Yeah.
Nice, thank
Is
you.
that pretty clear? Okay.
Sorry, it's difficult when we all know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
and we're just like, we're all cool with that, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, people are listening.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, J-Man?
My thoughts. I think this hacker who has been arrested by the London police. He is from
Allegedly.
allegedly 17-year-old from London. I guess London police arrested him
Celine might
from
know him. We should ask.
Celine Celine, if you're listening, try to get his info. But from what we've seen history with Take Two before, I think they're gonna throw the book at this guy and make an example out of him, and hopefully we don't see anything like this ever happen again, especially for a big AAA game that's coming out. That's what I think. That's what I would like to happen because, like I said, this sucks for like the people working on this game so hard. So yeah, it really does. What do you think, Finest, on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like ethics versus like like, just like black and white laws versus like moral constitution. Like it's like so many different factors. The fact that he's 17 made
Oh
me
yes.
feel like really different about this. Before I was just like, dude, burn the motherfucker. Like I was like,
Yeah.
find him and burn. Like, oh god, it's so horrible. Like he made so many people suffer. Like so many people. But then like hearing like he's 17, it's just like, oh, 17. He like at that
And
age, you just don't understand consequences like as you
no, they
should.
don't.
You
Yeah.
think you're invincible, you're trying to impress the world. The alleged person that did hack it, is part of a hacker group. I forget the name offhand. But yeah, like you have all these skills and you're trying to figure out the best way to utilize them. And this obviously, in hindsight isn't the best way to use them,
No.
but it's man, it made me change my feelings toward this entire situation. I would say I would say like they still need to make an example out of him.
Yeah,
I think
they need to
since
roll
he
book at him. Yeah, make an
like since
example.
he since he is younger, like he is going to receive a lesser consequence unless they try him as an adult. But man, like I mean, this also leads into the Uber breach. Also it's the same hacker group that supposedly did Uber and also potentially the Nvidia leak where they announced like all those announced games, which Nvidia said like, oh, these games are maybe just games, like not all of them are confirmed to be games, but so far everything from that list has been confirmed to be an actual game. So yeah, like I think they need to get this kid, and then they need to go after all the other hackers that he associated with, and in consequence to this.
Yeah.
And
The group just needs to be taken down.
yeah, because it doesn't. These leaks haven't benefited anyone. It's like there's like one thing to like leak something, and kind of like it's like, hey, like this game is coming out, like which is great. Like it's like, oh, like my favorite game is coming out, or this game that I've been waiting for so long. It's great to know. But then like to not only leak a game and hours of footage and tried to sell the source code, it's just malicious at that point, and you are affecting and just taking out so many people without any just really feelings or consequence towards that. And you have to realize that there's consequence towards that. That's why when we were talking about Bungie earlier, and we talked about them hacking the hacker, and Bungie even suing hackers and people that have released their IP and their information. I think that's the only way you're going to set a precedent, and really like minimalize this altogether, man. But it just sucks that it has to happen this way. Leaks in general don't really benefit anyway. I usually try to stay away from them because once I know too much about a game, it starts to disinterest me also.
Yes.
But in the same respect, like there was nothing gained out of this leak. At least as a hacker, like go through the information that you have, and then huh, is this even worth releasing? And then there was that other guy this week that who was a YouTuber, that was leaking information, but he was an influencer, so they were giving him the information. Like, and he leaked it on a separate account, and he did it out of clout. He did it out to he did it under an anonymous YouTube account, so he's not getting paid. He's not getting any kudos directly. He's getting kudos through this anonymous account, but like, what's the point at that point? Like, you already built a successful account, you have followers, and you're getting access to games that people normally wouldn't have access to. That's stuff I dream of. I would hold on to those NDAs as tight as I could, and I wouldn't tell a damn soul. I would know in my heart of hearts that I'm playing a game that no one else is playing right now, except for a few other people, and I'd be so ecstatic. And then when it's released, at like the first day, I would be the first person on it. I'd be telling everyone when that NDA like that, when that timeline hits, I'd be the first person. Yeah, when the embargo goes up, I'd be like, boom, 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 telling everybody, because I would already know. You have the inside loop, and that's the main thing. Like, if you want that clout and you want that, like, you already know more than everyone else. Like, as people are buying the game and so forth. So like, you do already have upper hand. How much more of an upper hand do you need? Yes, a lot of rants today. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I believe based on the chat, what Matt said is the hacker group is called Lapsus.
Yeah, Lapsus.
If I'm reading that correctly, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So I mean, in regards, I think they should get the book thrown at them, and then, I mean, in terms of what developers can do from having this thing happen again, I mean, they could just start fighting back, just do what Bungie did, just start hacking them, whatnot, give them a taste of their own medicine. But we can only, hope that they do, just, what can I say? It's been a lot of hacks this week.
Yeah.
Whether it be Bungie, whether it be Rockstar, Diablo, just all over the place.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, hacks and leaks and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, let's go through the release rundown, which is massive this week, and we'll do some chat room comments, and then we'll put this show to a close. So let's go through the games. So September 27th, we got 5 games coming out. We got Grounded for the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. Hako Life for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Life is Strange Remastered Collection coming to the Switch. The Fridge is Red for the PC. And Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero, PS4, Switch, and PC. Let's see. Oh, and then one more for the 27th. Almost forgot. Tunic for the PS5, PS4, and Switch. Sorry, Xbox, but it's no longer exclusive to you guys. So everyone can play it now. All right. September 28th, we have one game coming out, which is Death First Let It Die for the PS5 and PS4. The 29th, we have, looks like 6 games coming out. Looks like we got Brewmaster for the PC. Want to brew your own beer? There's your way to do it. Brew a beer brewing simulator. Dorfromantic. I hope I said that right. That's going to be for the Switch. Let's Build a Zoo. Looks like that's going to be on all consoles there. Yeah, just all consoles. So whatever console you have, if you want to build a zoo, there you go. Moonbreaker is coming for the PC. Let's see, and then we got Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And then we also got Picross S8 coming to the Switch. And Valkyrie Elysium coming to the PS5 and PS4. And then looks like, was that delayed or was that an update on it or?
Oh, so so this actually, if you get the larger version,
Mm,
there it comes with the Lilith, Valkyrie Elysium Lilith,
uh,
and Valkyrie Elysium.
mm.
So the Lilith part was delayed, but Valkyrie Elysium is still coming out on the 29th.
All
So
right, all
Okay.
right, all right.
yeah.
That
Cool.
sounds good. And then September 30th, we got 3 games. FIFA 23, the last FIFA, which is coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and X, Xbox One, and PC. My Little Pony, a Maritime Bay Adventure coming to the PS5, and Witchy Life Story coming to the PC. So that was a lot of games. A lot of games
Yeah.
coming out this week. Yeah. So, and this is still September. We haven't even gotten to October yet. October.
Nice.
Oh man. All right. So for me, I definitely with Tuna coming to the other consoles. I mean, I definitely could recommend that to anyone who doesn't have an Xbox. It looks pretty good. Similar to Zelda, for the most part. But otherwise, another game that kind of interests me, I'm a little curious about, maybe Brewmaster. What are you guys interested in this week? Finest or Max?
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of interested in Brewmaster also,
Hmm.
to kind of, learn how to brew beers and not have to do that entire investment and spend, hundreds and thousands of dollars. I could spend $60 and kind of get my feet wet. So I think that's pretty cool. Valkyrie Elysium, I think is pretty cool also. I do have a Valkyrie profile on my PlayStation 2 and my PlayStation 3. Um and yeah, so I'm kind of a fan of the Valkyrie series. So interested in that one, especially since it's like not just a 2D sprite game anymore. It's a very much a full 3D action game. But beyond that, I would say Grounded is definitely, I think, is an underrated game. I think more people need to have their eyes on that one. Just that having that entire Honey I Shrunk the Kids vibe, where you're miniaturized and you get to explore the world just as your tiny self. I think is I think it's a very novel idea, and I think it's a wonderful fantasy.
Mm.
I think the only thing with that is like, I know a lot of people have been commenting on the insects. People like with arachnophobia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh
Um, but they
man.
do have a mode to take out the spiders at least. So you can turn the spiders into, they turn into essentially blobs, or they look different. So stuff like that. But I think it's a very very unique and awesome idea, and I'm pretty excited for that one. And I think that's gonna be it. If no one's gonna say My Little Pony, I'll also say My Little Pony. I don't know why, but I think I'm just gonna say it for the hell of it. Why not? Give me some My Little Pony.
My Little Pony. All right, Max, what you got?
I'm a little disappointed that I'm not going to be able to experience Grounded unless I get on that Xbox train. It definitely looks super cool. It has like Deep Rock Galactic vibes. Have either of you two played that game?
No, I've seen it,
No,
but I
I've
haven't played it.
not played it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a based on the trailer alone, it looks like you have like four kind of character classes or something like that, or everyone has like some sort of specialization and loadouts potentially, and running around in a miniature world with giant bugs on your butt. That's amazing. I'm super jealous of you guys for that. But other than that, the Fridge is Red looks kind of up my alley. It's very reminiscent of kind of this indie title. I think it was called The Lighthouse, and it came out around the same time that the movie The Lighthouse came out. But it's kind of like that PS1 looking horror game type of genre, I suppose. So I definitely check that out. And then Tunic for sure.
Tunic.
Yeah, and then I think Let It Die, Deathverse. I played the first Let It Die, and that's still free to play, I'm pretty sure. And that was just a hilarious fun. It was like everything's like Dark Souls, but it was like Dark Souls, but if it was like a game show and you were in like you're at the bottom of this like apartment complex or tower and you had to get to the top of the building and you're competing against a bunch of other people and you're creating like weapons out of like hardware and household items and eating a bunch of like floor mushrooms to gain like abilities and stuff. It's wild. It's got an amazing soundtrack too.
Yeah,
Deathverse seems really weird. Like it is like it seems like I don't know if the original one was like or the one that you played was really had like Japanese like super strange like Japanese vibes, but like in terms of like humor and art style and things like that. But this almost seems like Persona-esque, like in terms of like kind of like weird style, but just turned up to like 20. But then it seems like it has like almost I don't know, like Silent Hill, like almost, I don't know, undertone. Like it just seems like like a mishmash of like so many like weird games that it actually does kind of interest me also. Yeah, curious to see what that one has to bring.
All right. So with that being said, we move on to the chat room comments. Looks like Matt Bliss dominated a lot of them tonight. Who wants to go first? Max, you want to choose a comment to read out?
Yeah, let's take a look here. So Matt Bliss says, thoughts are with the personalities, journos, and games media peeps that were let go. Speaking of the G4 topic that we were speaking about. Same with the Fanbyte crew under Tencent. Follow and shout them out with your support if you can. For sure.
Sounds good. F, what you got?
I'm good. I read any comments that I felt, you know,
all right,
spoke to the show.
My homie Nesco79 came through today. He recommended a SNES game for me to play, which was Todd Farland's Spawn, which I guess was on which I guess was on the Super Nintendo. It came out like in '95. Another late console addition to that console. Did you ever play Spawn back in the day, Finest?
I feel like I have. I feel like I rented it from like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, but I can't say for sure. I know I've seen the box. Yeah, I definitely like passed by the box 1,000 times when I went to go rent video games. And kids, there used to be a store where you can go walk in and rent physical media.
Yeah. So that is true. It's not fake. So
yeah, I definitely remember the box like clear as day. Did I ever rent it? I'm not entirely sure, but I want to say that I'm pretty sure I played it.
Yeah, one of our mutual friends was big on Spawn back in the day, but I was just like, you know what? If I ever did see the video game, maybe it wasn't that interesting to me, but just I played it a little bit. I want to play it some more so I can give them some honest feedback on the game. So I mean, I figured, I mean, maybe it'll be something I'll try to look for, for my SNES collection. Who knows? All right. So I figured I'd shout him out since he hasn't been commenting in a while. So with that being said, we are gonna put a mark, close the books for this episode. Well, 105 for the Game and Watch podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening wherever you may be. If you're watching the rerun, hopefully you enjoyed. Tune in next week for another great episode of the Game and Watch podcast. Thank you very much. We will see you next time. Later.
See you, everybody.